Meanwhile, President Trump is advancing the push for peace between Russia and Ukraine overnight. President Zelensky confirming he will travel to the White House Monday to hold talks with Trump.
This is after the commander-in-chief had a historic meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Alaska yesterday.
Peter Doocy was with the president in Alaska and joins us live from Anchorage, where it is 4 o'clock in the morning. It is so great to see you, Peter. What an extraordinary, historic event for you to have a front seat for.
Yes, Charlie, and Vladimir Putin has come and gone from Alaska, but the latest development from overnight is that now Vladimir Zelensky is going to come to the United States. He'll be in the Oval Office the day after tomorrow, and this is why. President Trump says it was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. And despite the lack of a ceasefire so far, Putin packed praise for President Trump here in Alaska.
Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, businesslike, and trustworthy contact.
Congressman Andy Ogles, Republican of Tennessee, is now saying President Trump did what no world leader could, brought Russia and the U.S. back to the table. From the Abraham Accords to North Korea, his record is peace through strength. I'm drafting his Nobel Peace Prize nomination now. Stay tuned. And President Trump continues his campaign. The Ukraine war was only brought about because Putin didn't respect Joe Biden.
I was very happy to hear him say if I was president, that war would have never happened. I see everyone saying worst since World War II by far. There's nothing even close. But we had a very good meeting today, and I think a lot of points were negotiated.
But President Trump is now looking at hotspots around the world with an eye on another superpower takeover, China of Taiwan.
You know, you have a very similar thing with President Xi of China and Taiwan. But I don't believe there's any way it's going to happen as long as I'm here. We'll see. He told me, I will never do it as long as you're president.
And I talked to President Trump while he was on the way to this summit. The main thing that he is trying to accomplish is to stop the killing in Ukraine. And that hasn't happened yet. But it appears that the peace process has begun. It's just going to be really slow. Back to you.
Peter, the president goes into this saying if we can get a ceasefire, obviously that's different than ending the war, comes out of it saying a fast track to a full-on peace is the best path forward. Do you see that as a consolation prize? Like, we wanted the ceasefire, we couldn't get it? Or is that, hey, things went so well that maybe we'd just go straight to ending this altogether?
It's tough to say because it sounds like it should be easy, right? Putin starts a war. President Trump meets with Putin and tells him to stop the war, and Putin won't do it. But the issue here and the reason that the plans to have Zelensky here as well fell apart is because Zelensky came to President Trump and President Putin and said, I can't just show up at a table and concede land. I need permission from my parliament. We need a national referendum in Ukraine. They haven't figured that part out yet. And so President Trump is trying to get to a place where the three of them can, and that'll be the good picture at some point soon. Putin on the left, Zelensky on the right, Trump in the middle, talking about an end to the war. It seems like there's an understanding by everybody that this war is going to end, but for whatever reason, Putin is not ready to end it yet. And so President Trump is going to be with Zelensky in the Oval Office on Monday, and he is saying, he has telegraphed that if Putin did not stop the war right away, there's going to be severe economic punishment for Putin. So we'll see what's announced on Monday.
So, Peter, obviously, the president has said over and over again, talking about how many lives are killed, 7,000 young men a week, sometimes not young men, they're conscripting in Ukraine, old guys, sometimes even people with Down syndrome. It's been brutal. Drone warfare, just absolutely a brutal warfare. And Trump is risking, some say, political capital in putting himself in the middle of this in order to get peace. This is what Sean Hannity asked him yesterday. Watch.
You're willing to expend political capital. All of the conflicts that I mentioned, including this one, this does not impact the United States as much as it does our allies in Europe.
It's true.
The Middle East, when we get involved in the Middle East, but you're doing it anyway. Now, why? Is it to save lives? Do you want a safer world?
Yeah, number one, to save lives in all cases, because wars are wars. When you see what would have happened with Cambodia as an example. Now, I'm not involved, but I was involved in negotiating a trade deal, and I said, you guys are going to be fighting Thailand, Cambodia, so many different. Look at India. Take a look at India and Pakistan. They were shooting down airplanes already, and that would have been maybe nuclear. I would have said it was going to go nuclear, and I was able to get it done. Number one is lives, and number two is everything else. Wars are very bad, and if you can avoid them, and I seem to have an ability to end them, to get people together. I use the power of the United States.
After that meeting and Putin and President Trump came to the podiums and spoke to the press. It wasn't a press conference. It was more like a press lecture. But, you know, and I think that a lot of people were really confused by that, largely because I think that so many of you guys in the press are so used to getting like more information than you can actually deal with out of President Trump. Do you have a sense or any idea about why the decision was made not to take any questions yesterday?
No, we don't know, and it's one of those things. They didn't put that it was going to be a joint schedule or a joint press conference on the official published schedule that we are allowed to talk about. But there were a lot of rumblings behind the scenes, particularly when they let the press in the room, and there are two podiums there. That would typically mean that there are going to be two people taking questions, but we don't know how the Q&A part fell apart.
Were there? I was also interested in Vladimir Putin's sort of response to the press. You obviously had some Russian press there as well. Do you have any sense that he seemed to get kind of irked with all of the free speech questions that we're very accustomed to hearing from people like you?
It's the same thing that Putin did when he met with Joe Biden 3 years ago, and Joe Biden made the same exact joke that President Trump did, which is basically just, look, now you see what I have to deal with. They don't have those kind of scrums at the Kremlin, but President Trump has like 4 a day. And so, you know, when President Trump, as you mentioned, it's like an information overload. He talks about everything all the time. Putin doesn't. And we thought that there was going to be some middle ground there with a brief Q&A with the Russian press and the U.S. press. The Q&A did not happen. If they reached a ceasefire agreement, we probably would have heard from both of them. But for whatever reason, Putin just isn't there yet. And so we'll see what President Trump is going to come back with on Monday with Zelensky in the Oval Office. As we know, we've come a long way from Zelensky being lectured by J.D. Vance in the Oval Office for not being grateful for all the U.S. support. Now he's going to come back, and he has got President Trump, who my guess would be is kind of annoyed by the fact that he came all the way to Alaska, Putin came all the way to the U.S., and nothing happened right away. But they're getting there.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get like 5 minutes to sleep sometime in the next week.
Late night, early morning.
I'll sleep on the flight. It's a pretty long flight. We're like on the top of the world right now.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Great to see you. Thanks, you
Peter.
for your great reporting.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.